I sit here with sadness today to report to you that I'm incredibly disappointed in one of my all-time favorite fighters, my brother, Floyd Money Mayweather. Ladies and gentlemen, chaos broke out. And I'm not talking about legit, bona fide boxing, pure boxing chaos. I'm talking about the kind of stuff that's just embarrassing. Look at this here, please.
This is a beautiful house, my man. How many square feet is this?
A little bit over 20,000 square feet, 3 or 4 levels.
Money Mayweather, seems appropriate that you would be living in Vegas.
My mentality is always about, working smarter, not harder.
Floyd Money Mayweather used to be the pinnacle of boxing achievement and financial skill, but new information points to a different picture. Stephen A. Smith doubts whether Mayweather's empire is stable. Could the unbeaten champion be up against his most formidable foe yet? Financial ruin? Let's dissect the $42 million controversy that is rocking the boxing community.
The $1 million garage.
I know we're on television, Floyd, but I think it's necessary for me to say, damn.
Well, we on ESPN, this car costs $3.2 million. This Bugatti right here costs $1.6 million. It's close to 15 million. You're right, it's close to 15 million.
And you don't drive them?
No.
Floyd Mayweather has spent years establishing himself as the world's most paid athlete, claiming to earn roughly $100 million every time his name appears in the news.
Yes, she did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
However, a single voice from the combat community is now shattering that whole story. Mayweather's alleged 9-figure fight checks may have been nothing more than smoke and mirrors, according to former UFC championship contender and pundit Chelsea Sonnen, who calls it one of the biggest fallacies in sports marketing.
Coined this phrase, fake news.
Yeah.
Why is he saying that? What does that even mean? You can trust the news. There's no such thing as fake. People were dressed up as empty seats, and I mean thousands of people.
No.
I bought my mother's ticket that day. That day, my mother decides that she wants to go to the fight. So I'm in there, and I'm telling the world that this place is sold out because that's what's on the screen. And it's not even close. Yeah. This isn't like, it's pretty much full. There's thousands of empty seats. That was the first time that in my own life I ever just, wow, fake news is real.
Wow.
And then Mayweather, they wanted a rematch. They were begging. They were doing more media trying to get a rematch than they did leading into the first match. And the guys that wrote the checks.
Thus, even though Mayweather showed off his jets and bank stubs, Sonnen claims that the concrete financial evidence never came to light. Only headlines, no broadcast partner, and no third-party verification.
Whoever puts that press release and sends it out, never has a company that's publicly traded had an executive back those numbers. They're all lies.
And this poses a harsh query. Was Mayweather's empire based on real checks, or was it only PR wizardry and inflated ego? Sonnen is also not alone herself. The money brand appears to be seeping everywhere due to financial problems, unpaid jewelry payments, and the cryptocurrency scam case that is haunting his name. Floyd Mayweather, the boxing icon who transformed luxury into a way of life and made his moniker Money his entire persona, has always been the face of untouchable wealth. However, the fractures in that image are starting to appear behind the million-dollar shopping sprees and private jets, and they're appearing sooner than anyone anticipated. Mayweather has no money, but aside from his former rivals, no one has publicly stated it yet. Even Oscar De La Hoya, a former adversary who is now a reluctant supporter, was unable to ignore what was happening. De La Hoya, who has frequently stood up for Mayweather in public, was finally compelled to acknowledge the truth.
But you have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard, I know life is expensive, but come on, dude, put your legacy first. Nobody wants to remember you like this. And it gets worse, your jeweler filed a lawsuit against you in Miami. And many are saying you're gonna have to sell off your assets. I hate seeing this happen, bro.
From a promoter who is well-versed in both aspects of the boxing industry, De La Hoya's remarks sounded more like a financial obituary than merely criticism. A lengthy history of exhibition fights and the jewelry lawsuit asset rumors. Every indication that Mayweather's alleged billion-dollar empire isn't as resilient as the public thought. And more powerful than any bank statement is the fact that De La Hoya, who before stood on the other side of the ring, is now expressing sympathy rather than rivalry. However, the irony of it all is that Mayweather also spoke out. While Floyd ensured that the world recalled the true business, De La Hoya publicly presents a picture of sympathy. Their past together, Mayweather has often implied that De La Hoya wasn't exactly the most honest businessman when it came to money and devotion.
We helped build this guy up. He was fighting on my undercard. He was the co-main. We helped build this guy up. And you know what Oscar De La Hoya do? You know what Mr. Loyal Oscar De La Hoya do? I'm sorry, Miss Disloyal Oscar De La Hoya do? He take him right over to HBO and cut a deal with HBO. And when he cut the deal, he got money, but I bet Canelo didn't see none. But these are the things that people don't know about in a sport of boxing.
For a man who made a living by showing off his wealth, this went beyond Canelo or traditional business. Mayweather alluded to a trend of unsaid payouts, covert transactions, and financial games behind the scenes. These same financial games are now showing up in lawsuits, unpaid debts, and silent asset sales. Furthermore, Mayweather's empire is drawing criticism from more than just financial experts and former fighters. Even his opponents and even boxers from the same generation have begun removing Logan's mask. Paul, who sparred with Mayweather, is still seeking a payout that he claims inexplicably disappeared following the bout. And he didn't hold back in his annoyance.
No, I got paid. I got paid. Just not in full. Like a couple million somehow that is just missing. Where did the money go? Floyd said he could afford a Jeff Bezos-sized jet from the money he made from that fight. I ain't got a jet. Fuck, dude. I'm missing a couple mil. We're gonna find it, bro. I'll see you in court. The audit's happening. Just like, mark my words, we're coming for you, Floyd. We're coming for your millions and the last of your change.
Millions are lost in a court case, and the Mayweather brand is further damaged. A financial hunt followed what began as a boxing demonstration, and Logan isn't the only name suggesting that Floyd's wealth may not be adding up. One question remains unanswered when even the fighters must use the courtroom to pursue their rewards. Does Mayweather already have a business empire that is struggling?
Tell us now. Hey. 5. All right behind you.
However, Floyd didn't remain silent as Logan Paul continued his lawsuit alleging Mayweather never paid his entire share for their FI. Instead, he reacted in typical Mayweather fashion, shifting the blame back onto the company and dismissing the entire controversy as though it were nothing more than spare change.
Right away, just like I'm still collecting checks from fights 7 or 8 years ago. I'm still collecting checks. Why? Because I made smart moves and I'm my own boss. So they hate when a table is turned. Right. You know, look how many years they've been owing us money. But we don't never trip. So now when the table is turned, they say, oh, you owe us something. Be happy with the biggest payday you ever got in your life.
Mayweather's cool response gave the impression that the case was just normal, but the timing revealed otherwise. From underpaid rivals to jewelers contemplating legal action and reports of asset sales, Floyd's financial stronghold appears to be under constant pressure. Furthermore, no amount of cunning maneuvers can conceal the expanding list of individuals who are still awaiting payment. Logan's breakdown reveals a business tactic that most fans are unaware of. For years, Mayweather controlled the money surrounding the ring in addition to earning money within it, much like Muyu did. From purchasing whole ticket sections ahead of time to selling them for enormous amounts, Floyd's work ethic went much beyond the fight night.
He is the promotional arm of his fights. It's why, in part, he makes so much money, because whereas a normal promotional company will take 30%, he is that. And so oftentimes for his fights, before the tickets can go on sale to the public, or like right as they go on sale, he'll buy a whole wing, a whole section, and then he'll sell them at a higher price, marked up, so he can make,
like all the floor seats. He takes all of them.
All of them, 3, 4, 5x, and it's part of his business.
Logan first acknowledged that the tactic wasn't unlawful or out of the ordinary for someone managing their own fight promotions. It was merely business. But he said that the true issue was not ticket flipping at all, but rather investors being left in the dark and millions of dollars disappearing after the tickets were sold.
With this particular lawsuit, he had an investor pay $1.4 million in total for this section, and the investor was promised that the seats would sell at I think a 7 to 8x multiple, and he expected a return on his investment, and sure enough, he didn't get his initial investment back. He's strung along. He gets like 100K here and there, strung along, not getting paid. Now his investment allegedly is being rolled into Floyd's alleged fight with Manny Pacquiao, and so the investors being strung along on this thing, and eventually, like us, it's like, yo, we're simply not getting paid in full. Like, we've been fucking dragged along for way too long now, and this guy finally filed a lawsuit against Floyd Mayweather. So that's the one that's actually active and pending, and then here we are.
What began as a clever business strategy gradually descended into allegations of unfulfilled promises, underpaid returns, and current legal disputes. Logan's remarks repeat a trend that has becoming difficult to overlook. An increasing number of fighters, investors, and partners are still awaiting payment from Mayweather. Even though Mayweather's public persona is still centered on million-dollar shopping sprees and private jets, the financial fractures in his enterprise have begun to show. Furthermore, neither resentful ex-Romders nor journalists are making the claims this time. They are coming from the same individuals that joined him in the ring. Logan Paul, who revealed one of the decade's most watched exhibition bouts against Mayweather, disclosed that the last bell didn't signal the end of the real fight. It started when the camera stopped moving. Additionally, Logan claims that the promised salary has still not arrived.
Or is that something that you can't disclose right now?
He has not paid me in full. That is a fact.
No
short a few mil, yeah.
Wow. Still a few mil?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Have you been in contact with him?
Nah, we're taking this for the court.
No, are you being serious? Is this like a
Do I look serious, lady?
You do. I'm just making sure. I apologize.
Really?
I'm just...
Nah, I'm fucking with you. I'm not fucking with you. Yeah, we're taking it to court.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So,
yeah, see you in the courtroom. Congrats, you're going to prison, Floyd.
The idea of Mayweather's untouchable wealth started to disintegrate even further as soon as Logan's remarks appeared online. This wasn't a resentful promoter or an old rival lurking in the background. This individual had signed the same contracts, shook hands, and stood in the same ring. Floyd Mayweather's unwavering confidence and unreserved boasting about his extravagant lifestyle serve as a constant reminder that his achievement is indisputable, regardless of what the general public thinks of him. His remarks serve as a reminder of the fortune and empire he has amassed by diligence and astute business management.
That takes care of everything, and everything is okay. I still got my private jets. Let me put an S on that because I got 3 of them. Still got my private jets. I still have all my beautiful homes. Still have all my properties everywhere, and still making millions every month.
These claims go beyond simple flexes. They serve as evidence that despite the difficulties he has had both inside and outside of the ring, Mayweather has remained a powerful financial figure whose way of life continues to inspire jealousy among many in the sports industry and beyond. Despite Floyd Mayweather's continued financial success and dominance in the boxing world, not everyone approves of his most recent decisions. Stephen A. Smith and other critics have been outspoken about his choice to engage in exhibition bouts with non-boxers, especially the notorious Logan Paul battle. According to Smith, Floyd is jeopardizing his legendary reputation by entering the ring with unfit individuals, which diminishes the significance of his career. The actions of Smith Mayweather are an illustration of pursuing wealth at the expense of legacy.
When you are as great as Floyd Money Mayweather, everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space. I know you like to make money. You're never going to stop making money. Very, very few people on the planet know how to make money like you know how to make money. But some of this stuff has got to stop. You want to get Conor McGregor in the ring for an exhibition match? All right, that's fine. You know, Conor sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it. Fair enough. But what I'm trying to say is this. When you're great, when you're elite, not just anybody deserves to be in your pristine space. And what I mean by that is I'm not talking about on the street or anything like that. Boxing is your thing.
Smith opposes the notion of focusing on bouts that don't display genuine boxing prowess, even though he concedes that Floyd's capacity to make money is unrivaled. He believes that these demonstration bouts involving individuals without any actual boxing experience, such as Logan Paul, damage Mayweather's reputation and compromise the integrity of the sport. Instead of participating in bouts that garner media attention but don't add to Floyd's reputation in the ring, Stephen A. feels that Floyd has nothing more to prove and should concentrate on maintaining his legendary status. As they say, it gets harder to fall the higher you go. Floyd Mayweather's fall may have already occurred behind closed doors at that time. On camera, the man who previously counted his millions with lawsuits, unpaid payments, and rumors of a financial empire disintegrating from the inside out, flashing cash like confetti, is suddenly the norm. Mayweather persuaded everyone that he was untouchable for years. The man who made boxing a billion-dollar industry, the king of pay-per-view, the master of luxury. But what if the money never existed? What if the fancy bank slips, the diamond chains, and the private jets were all merely props in the biggest financial hoax the fight world has ever witnessed?
Man, and it's crazy, but it's happening. Yeah, 50 Cent is pretty much exposing the fact that Floyd Mayweather is having issues, but it was not 50 that started it. It was actually Business Insider.
They got Floyd here. It says Floyd Mayweather is stepping into Manhattan's multi-family ring in a big way. The retired boxer has gone into a contract to pay $420 million for a 1,000-unit affordable housing portfolio with more than 60 buildings, according to sources familiar to the deal. Josh Gotti of Black Spruce Management is the seller, and Black Spruce Magazine declined comment. It says also here that the investor partnered with Maynard Orchard on a $1.8 billion deal for 1,766 units spanning 6 rental buildings and an acquisition of the American Cooper Building, twin luxury towers in Murray Hills with the view of the East River.
The $42 million swindle is a warning, not just a headline. The reality about Floyd's alleged wealth is beginning to emerge behind the fancy clothes and faked Instagram pictures, and this time, no amount of public relations can keep the money brand from going bankrupt. Additionally, if you believe that the $42 million controversy marks the conclusion of the tale, you should reconsider. Floyd Mayweather's reality is more repulsive the further down this rabbit hole goes. The real Floyd may just be another victim of his own ego behind all the Instagram filters and private aircraft photo ops. A man who was so focused on appearing wealthy that he neglected to maintain it. Furthermore, when Stephen A. Smith begins to cast doubt on your financial realities on national television, it's no longer haters speaking. It's an obvious indication that the walls are closing in. Floyd Mayweather sold more than just bouts. He marketed the idea of impenetrable wealth, but when you take away the gaudy watches and fake bank slips, all that's left is a man out of luck and running out of time. Based on these lawsuits, it appears that the $42 million swindle wasn't just a poor business decision. It could have been the last straw for the money Mayweather myth. Do you believe that Mayweather has been playing the world all along, or that his financial empire is now collapsing? Post your ideas in the space provided for comments.